Tonight, on First at 9 this Tuesday, the 27th of May 2025. COVID alert. Sri Lanka on alert as new COVID variant emerges regionally. Health Minister assures no signs of pandemic resurgence. Expedite advancement. Government to launch Digital Economic Authority for future growth. New state body to steer national digital transformation. On track. Sri Lanka surpasses 1 million tourists in 2025. Country eyes 3 million arrivals with strong mid-year momentum. Weather havoc. Monsoon chaos. Over 1,000 affected by rains and winds. Southwest monsoon intensifies, triggering widespread impact.
Cinec Campus Open Day. May masa 3 වෙනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට Cinec Campus පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by the nation's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tharindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story this evening, heavy rains and strong gusty winds swept across several regions of the country as the active southwest monsoon continues to intensify. The Department of Meteorology has forecast more heavy showers over the next 24 hours, particularly in the southwestern parts of the island. Meanwhile, the Disaster Management Centre reports that over 1,000 people in 7 districts have been affected by the severe weather conditions. Torrential rainfall triggered by intensified southwest monsoon conditions slashed several regions across Sri Lanka, including the commercial capital, Colombo. The fierce winds along with the relentless rain swept across the island, toppling trees and utility poles onto roads, causing massive inconvenience to the public. As fierce wind gusts continue, the Department of Meteorology issued a red alert warning for strong winds and rough seas for sea areas extending from Chilau to Kankasanture and from Galle to Potuville for the next 24 hours. The department advised the naval and fishing communities not to venture into the above sea areas until further notice. Meanwhile, the severe weather took a significant toll on the Nuwara district, triggering landslides in several areas and disrupting traffic flow. Against this backdrop, the National Building Research Organisation issued Warning Level 1 Watch Yellow landslide warnings to several areas in the Galle, Kalutara, Kandy and Kegol districts. Simultaneously, the Meteorology Department issued an amber advisory forecasting heavy rain over the next 24 hours in the western and Sabaragamu provinces, as well as in the Galle, Matara, Nuwara and Kandy districts. The department warned that adverse weather conditions will persist across the island's southwestern region. As heavy rain continues to sweep across the country, the Disaster Management Centre reports that 1,392 individuals from 385 families in 7 districts have been affected so far. Meanwhile, in neighbouring India, the India Meteorological Department issued a multi-hazard alert warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall across several states, driven by intensified southwest monsoon activity. The department also projected that rainfall in June is expected to exceed normal levels, with precipitation likely to be more than 108% of the long-period average of 166.9 millimeters. Notably, Bengaluru recorded its highest rainfall for the month yesterday with a total of 307.9 millimeters of rain received so far. Cabinet has approved the closure of the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency and has proposed to establish a new state-owned digital economic authority named GovTech to support ongoing and future digital initiatives. It has also been decided to appoint a committee to review public input and propose revisions to the Online Safety Act, ensuring it remains effective and up-to-date, as government has decided to continue with the act without abolishing it. At the cabinet meeting held on the 27th of January 2025, approval was granted to liquidate the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency. In its place, steps will be taken to establish a new digital economic authority to lead the country's digital initiatives. As a result, cabinet approved the proposal to establish GovTech Private Limited, a government-owned company that will function as an independent institution empowered to carry out ongoing and future digital transformation projects without delays or operational barriers. At the Cabinet meeting held on the 9th of February 2025, approval was given to amend the Online Safety Act No. 9 of 2024. To guide this process, a multi-sectoral committee chaired by a Supreme Court judge will be appointed. The committee's role will be to review public opinion and expert input, consider already identified issues and propose amendments to enhance the effectiveness and fairness of the legislation.
ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ ආණ්ඩුව කිව්වා ඔන්ලයින් සේෆ්ටි ඇක්ට් එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් කිව්වා ජනතාවට කරදරකාරී පනත් අයින් කරනවා අහෝසි කරනවා කියලා. අයියෝ බුදුමාලා ඇමෙන්ඩ්මන්ට් එක ගේන්න යන්නේ මේක.
Online safety පනතට
A considerable number of amendments have been proposed to the Online Safety Act. We intend to amend this act because it is no longer in its original form. There are currently 38 proposed amendments. This committee was established to gather feedback from the public and industry experts in order to further improve the act. Government is committed to providing adequate time for this process.
කාලයක් ඒකට ලබා දෙන්න රාජ්‍ය සූදානම්.
සංශෝධන සහිතව අවශ්‍යතාවයක් මතුවෙන්න මොන පදනම මතද තාක්ෂණය භාවිත කරන්නේ?
මේක රාජ්‍යයේ අවශ්‍යතාවයකට වඩා
More than the government, it is the public that has strongly requested this act. Many people experience injustice and unfair treatment on social media platforms and require legal protection. Under the current law, the public does not receive adequate justice in these areas. I believe that steps must be taken to safeguard the public in line with the rapid advancement of social media. This decision has been made in the best interest of the people.
ප්‍රවේශය වෙනුවෙන් කරන එකක්.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka will draft new legislation targeting foreign terrorist militants and aim to enact it before March 2026 to meet international commitments. As part of its obligations as a member of the Asia-Pacific Group on Money Laundering, Sri Lanka must demonstrate compliance with international standards on combating money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation financing set by the Financial Action Task Force. Sri Lanka is undergoing a mutual evaluation to assess its compliance. Under the action plan for the current evaluation, Sri Lanka must enact laws aligned with UN Security Council Resolution 2178 of 2014 concerning foreign terrorist fighters. Sri Lanka will also establish a specialized bureau to reform and strengthen revenue administration. Under the government's macroeconomic reform agenda, a new entity named the Revenue Administration Reformations and Modifications Bureau will be established to plan and implement modern, internationally aligned tax policies in relation to international transactions and enhance the overall efficiency of state revenue collection. Meanwhile, a limited liability company will be established for developing, expanding and managing these special economic centers under a legally recognized, centralized framework, thereby improving service delivery and long-term viability. Sri Lanka has established 18 special economic centers aimed at supporting the marketing, distribution and storage of agricultural goods. However, only 14 centers are currently operational, while 4 in Vaunia, Kilinochchi, Jaffna and Batticaloa remain inactive. The total number of tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka so far in 2025 has surpassed 1 million, according to the latest figures released by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority as of the 25th of May 2025. In year 2024, it took until June to reach this milestone.
The country surpassed 1 million arrivals on the 25th of May. When contacted, Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, Sampath Nissanka, expressed confidence that Sri Lanka will surpass historical records in tourist arrivals this year. This year's target for tourist arrival is set at 3 million, representing a 50% increase compared to 2024 figures. He asserted that Sri Lanka tourism is dedicated to developing a sustainable and inclusive tourism industry in Sri Lanka, ensuring long-term benefits for the economy, local communities and the environment. He added that new initiatives have been launched to position Sri Lanka as a year-round destination and to boost off-season tourism. In addition to the traditional markets, new market segments that are less affected by seasonal variations are being developed, while expanding efforts to attract visitors from the Middle East and East Asia. Tourism promotion roadshows, trade fairs, media familiarization tours and collaborations with popular bloggers and travel influencers to enhance tourism promotion efforts are also being conducted.
Government announced plans to develop the 7.4-kilometre stretch along Marine Drive in Colombo in a bid to enhance the city's tourism appeal and boost its nighttime economy. The development project under the new initiative themed Marine Nights Awakening Colombo will focus on the area from the Kollupiti railway station to the Dehiwala railway station. A key highlight of the project is the 400-metre segment between the Goldface Green and St. Thomas's Primary School, which is set to be transformed into a vibrant nightlife hub featuring attractions, enhanced lighting and public spaces. The project has received the approval of the Cabinet of Ministers.
සිනෙක් කැම්පස් ඕපන් ඩේ මැයි මස 3 වැනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට සිනෙක් කැම්පස් පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
Meanwhile, government has decided to dispose of shares in Canville Holdings Limited, resuming a previous decision aimed at funding the incomplete Grand Hyatt Colombo development project. At a prior cabinet meeting, approval was granted to dispose of shares in Canville Holdings, a company established to invest in the tourism sector, and to appoint India-based Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu PLC as the consultant for the initiative, which was specifically to support the Grand Hyatt Colombo project. However, the process was never completed. An estimated $120 million in funding is still required to finish the Grand Hyatt Colombo development. The government has identified the sale of shares in Canville Holdings as the most viable option to secure the necessary funds. Accordingly, it has been decided to resume the share disposal process and reappoint Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu PLC as the consulting firm to manage the transaction and facilitate investment. Sri Lanka remains on alert amid a regional resurgence of COVID-19 driven by emerging variants which have led to rising case numbers in several neighbouring countries. The government confirms no major outbreak but says it is maintaining a proactive stance.
The World Health Organization warned over resurgence of COVID-19 across parts of Asia, driven by the emergence of new variants. While the overall global public health risk remains low, several countries including India, Singapore, China and Thailand have reported a notable increase in cases. India, particularly the state of Kerala, has seen a rise in mild infections, though no significant surge in hospitalization has been reported. In Sri Lanka, the government has confirmed that while no major outbreak is identified, precautionary measures are being implemented, especially at international entry points such as airports.
COVID-19 නව ප්‍රභේදයක් පැතිරෙනවයි කියලා ආසියානු කලාපයේ ලෝක සෞඛ්‍ය සංවිධානය අනුතරංගවලා තිනවා. අද වෙනකොට ඉන්දියාවෙන් COVID රෝගීන් අඳුරගෙන තිනවා.
කොවිඩ් පැතිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්
COVID-19 cases have been identified in some neighboring countries. The government is closely monitoring the situation. However, there is currently no indication of a crisis on the scale of the previous pandemic. Preventive measures, including airport screenings, are already in place. Additionally, the Secretary to the Ministry of Health has submitted a report with the latest details on the matter.
ලේකම්වරයාත් පහුගිය දවසක වාර්තාවක් නිකුත් කළා.
The deadline for all candidates who contested the 2025 local government elections to submit their campaign income and expenditure reports ends at midnight tonight. The Election Commission has emphasized that all candidates are required to prepare and submit their financial disclosures in line with the provisions of the Election Expenditure Regulation Act. These reports must be handed over to the returning officers of the respective electoral districts before midnight today. Chairman of the Election Commission, RMAL Ratnayaka, stated that the deadline will not be extended under any circumstances. He added that all election offices across the country will remain open until midnight tomorrow to facilitate the submission of these expense reports. Ratnayaka also warned that the names of candidates who fail to submit reports by midnight tonight will be forwarded to the relevant police stations for further legal action. A strike action was launched today by the medical laboratory professionals and physiotherapists in a number of hospitals across the country based on 5 demands, including the withdrawal of the aptitude test introduced to recruit allied health graduates into the public service. Meanwhile, the Inter-University Students' Federation also conducted a demonstration urging the recruitment of allied health graduates to the government service per merit-based system.
Medical laboratory professionals and psychotherapists launched a strike action at 8 a.m. this morning at several hospitals across the country. The strike was launched based on 5 demands, including the withdrawal of the aptitude test introduced to recruit allied health graduates into the public service and the resolution of issues in the promotion procedure. The Joint Council for Professionals of Supplementary Medicine stated that the strike action was not carried out in cancer hospitals, kidney hospitals, maternity and children's hospitals and the National Blood Centre. Nevertheless, services at hospitals were disrupted due to the strike action, inconveniencing the patients. The Joint Council of Allied Health Professionals accused that the strike action was being conducted to inconvenience the government at a crucial time, despite authorities granting supplementary health professionals the opportunity to discuss their concerns. However, the Joint Council for Professionals of Supplementary Medicine said that they would decide on further strike actions during a meeting this evening. Meanwhile, the Inter-University Students' Federation also conducted a demonstration today in front of the Fort Railway Station. The demonstration was held urging the recruitment of allied health graduates to the government service as per the merit-based system approved by the University Grants Commission. In the meantime, the Joint Council for Professionals of Supplementary Medicine stated that the appeals court has decided today to suspend the granting of internship appointment for allied health graduates.
The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health warns of a potential spread of chikungunya in several parts of Sri Lanka following a surge in cases in the Colombo and Gampaha districts. According to epidemiologist Dr. Chintana Pereira, the chikungunya disease is currently prevalent in Kaduela, Gothatua and Battaramulla in the Colombo district as well as in densely populated areas of the Gampaha district. Meanwhile, the government confirmed that the recent chikungunya outbreak has not been declared an epidemic and the epidemiology unit will soon provide an update based on data. As concerns are also raised over the spread of dengue cases, government officials disclosed that mosquito breeding places have surged due to illegal and stalled constructions, especially during the economic crisis. It is revealed that over 31,000 mosquito breeding places were identified during a recent inspection. Acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya stated that the proposal submitted by members of Parliament requesting security will be forwarded to the National Security Council for consideration. According to the Parliament's media division, the acting IGP had disclosed that necessary security arrangements are already being provided to MPs who have received their final security assessment reports. These comments were made during a discussion held last week at the Parliament premises. The meeting followed an earlier discussion on the same day between Speaker Dr. Jagath Wickramaratne, Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Ananda Vijayapala and other parliamentary representatives. During the meeting, leaders of opposition parties emphasized the need to ensure security for their members. Independent MP Ramanathan Archana suggested that if the state is unable to provide adequate protection, MPs should be given firearms for their personal safety. Additionally, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and MP Ravi Karunanayake voiced their concerns and requested that any information regarding alleged criminal involvement of members of their parties be formally disclosed. The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment has revealed that the Samurdhi Development Authority has not yet provided any information on the beneficiaries of the Rata Virupiyasa housing loan scheme, which is now under scrutiny after being launched in 2013 to support migrant workers with housing loans. The issue surfaced during a recent session of the Committee on Public Enterprises, where members raised concern over the lack of transparency and monitoring in the program's implementation.
2013 ජනවාරි 24 වෙනිදා කැබිනට් ඩිසිෂන් එකකින් රට විරුවෝ නිවාස ණය වැඩසටහන ගිවිසුම අනුව රුපියල් මිලියන 100ක් සමෘද්ධි අධිකාරියේ ස්ථාවර තැන්පතුවක තැන්පත් කර තිබුණි. සමෘද්ධි සංවර්ධන දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් කාර්යාංශය වෙත 2025 අප්‍රේල් 10 දින එවා තිබූ ලිපිය අනුව 2024 දෙසැම්බර් 31 වන දිනට එම මුදල සමුච්චිත පොලිය සමග රුපියල් මිලියන 341.7ක් වී තිබුණි. දැන් ඔබ රුපියල් මිලියන 100ක FD එකක් දාලා දෙනවා සමෘද්ධි අධිකාරියට සමුදය අධිකාරියට ගෙන ඔබ වෙනුවෙන් සමුදය අධිකාරිය විදියට නිවාස ණය වැඩසටහනක් කරන්න කියලා. එහෙමනේ නේ. එතකොට දැන් ඒ කාලය තුල 2018 දා කාලය තුල මේ සම්බන්ධව ඔබ ආයතනයේ කාර්යභාරය මොකක්ද?
කාර්යාංශයේ කාර්යභාරය වෙන්න ඕනේ මේ අධීක්ෂණයක් සුපර්විෂන් එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ මේක.
ඒක තමයි. ඒක කවුද ඒතර වක්කීම තියෙන්නේ? ඔබේ මොන නිලධාරියද?
සුබ සාධන අංශය තමයි මේකට මැදිහත් වෙලා කටයුතු කරේ.
ඔබේ අංශයෙන් තමයි මේ කටයුත්ත මොනිටර් කරන්න ඕන.
ඔව්.
ඒතකොට දැන් ඔබට හිතෙනවද ඒ කාලය තුල මේ කටයුත්ත මොනිටර් කරලා තියෙනවා කියලා?
සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ.
සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ.
මිලියන 100 සමෘද්ධියක හරහා මේ වැඩේට යොදවන්නේ සමෘද්ධියකේ ඉල්ලීමක් මතද නැත්නම්
ඔව් ඇත්තටම ඒ ඉල්ලීම කොහෙන්ද එන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ රට විරුව කියලා නිවාස නව යෝජනා ක්‍රමයේ ඔබේ යෝජනාවක්ද නැත්නම්
නෑ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ තීරණයක් කරන කැබිනට් තීරණයක් අනුව ආපු එකක්. සමෘද්ධි අධිකාරිය යාළුවගේ තියෙන ෆන්ඩ්ස් වලින් තමයි මේ ණය දීලා තියෙන්නේ. අර අපයක්
විදියට තියන් ඉන්නවා.
ඔව්.
මේ මිලියන 100 සමුද්‍රයට දීමත් සමග මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් වෙන ක්‍රියාදාමය සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු කරන්න මේ කෝඩිනේටින් කමිටි එක ස්ටැබ්ලිෂ් කරලා තියෙනවද?
එම කාලයේදී එහෙම එකක් තිබුණාද කියලා නම් සභාපතිතුමා මම කියන්න දන්නේ
මේ පිළිබඳව දැන් අපිට තියෙන අදහස තමයි ගිවිසුමට අනුව ව්‍යාපෘති යටතේ ණය ලබා දීම පිළිබඳ තොරතුරු කාර්යාංශය වෙත ඉදිරිපත් කර නොතිබුණි කියන එක. ඒතර දැනට ඔබ සතු ඒ තොරතුරු තියෙනවද?
ණය ලබා දීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි අවස්ථා ගණනාවකදී සමුද්‍ර අධිකාරියට ලිඛිතව ඉදිරිපත් කරා තොරතුරු දෙන්න කියලා. දැන් එයාලටත් ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. එයාලා ණයක් දුන්නේ කාටද කියලා නිශ්චිතව හඳුනා ගන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් සමුද්‍ර අධිකාරියටත් තියෙනවා.
Welcome back to First at 9. In business news, the Colombo Stock Exchange closed on a positive note with the ASPI gaining 161 points to end the day at 16,658. H&B emerged as the top contributor to the day's performance with the Browns investment divestment of H&B shares in a 13.8 billion rupee transaction. Market turnover surged to 18.7 billion, one of the highest single-day volumes in recent years. Turnover was primarily driven by the divestment of a 9.99% stake in H&B by Browns Investment through 9 off-board transactions totaling 45.9 million shares at 305 each. The banking sector dominated trading, accounting for 81% of total turnover. Foreign investors remained net buyers recording a net foreign inflow of 203.8 million rupees. Secondary market participants maintained buying interest ahead of tomorrow's Treasury bill auction. Notably, buying interest was predominant on 2028, 2029, 2030 and 2031 maturities. Analysts say trading volumes and activity remained at moderate levels. As a result, 2028 maturities traded in the range of 9.2% to 9%, while 2029 and 2030 maturities changed hands in the ranges of 9.8% to 9.6% and 9.75% to 9.7% respectively. Meanwhile, 2031 maturities traded at a yield of 10%. In the forex market, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated marginally against the US dollar, closing at 299.6 rupees compared to the previously seen rate of 299.3 rupees against the USD. Meanwhile, overnight liquidity in the banking system expanded to 203.2 billion from 192.2 billion rupees in the previous session. That's all for tonight from First at 9. For the latest developments around the clock, stay constantly in touch with Ada Derana, the Sri Lankan news brand of international excellence. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.